Okay, a quick little video to show you how to add your zip onto your A-line skirt and your facing. So cutting your facing, if this is your A-line skirt pattern, just at the top of your skirt here, a width of roughly, it's probably about 12-15 centimeters at the most, cut your facing pieces. So if your skirt pattern is like that on the fold, then do your facing piece exactly the same on the fold. And I would suggest before you start with your facing to just zigzag the bottom edge of your facing on both, as many pieces. I mean, these are fake pieces, so of course they're not cut on the fold, but zigzag the bottom edge of your facing piece. Okay, now to stitch it all up, I'm going to put my facing pieces, my facing pieces aside. And you take your two skirt pieces, wherever you're going to put the zip in, right sides together, and pop it under your machine. Let's see if I can show you while holding the camera. And make quite a nice wide seam allowance. So I'm using 2 centimeters here. Use a straight stitch, there you go, straight stitch. And set your stitch length. Here's the important part. Stitch length all the way to the longest stitch, so it's easy to unpick. Mine is 5, whatever yours is, whatever your longest stitch length is. Then the length of your zip, using your 2 centimeter seam allowance guide, and your longest length, go the length of the zip that you'll need to install. When you get to the bottom of the length of your zip, I'm just going to say it's roughly there, then go back to your normal stitch length, and I'm going to go backwards for a couple of stitches, and then just stitch to the end of the skirt, which would be the hemline of your skirt, and cut. So now what you've got is you've got a seam over here that flattens out, and if you pull it apart, you can see there very well at the light. You can see very nicely at the light. Sorry, a bit hard to do with one hand. That you can see, you can actually you can almost pull that seam apart. So now, you take that flattened seam that you press at the iron, and now's a good time to overlock or zigzag these raw edges, because you're not going to be able to come back and do that after you've installed your zip. I'm going to use a completely non-color coordinated zip, but just so that you can see for effect. And of course this is an endless zip that I've cut a strip of. You can go back and watch my video on endless zips and how to put the head onto them. And I'm going to put the zip face down. Of course for the skirts I would use an invisible zip. That would be preferable. But just for this demo I'm going to use my endless zip. And actually when you see how sort of hidey-hole this zip is, how well hidden it is, you'll see that it's actually, even with this chunky zip, that's a 5mm zip, even this, doing it this method is very easy, and it is pretty much invisible. So now what you want to do is, where you've stitched and your stitching is very open, you place that line right on the teeth of your zip. So use your fingernails and you'll be able to push it on. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have to put the video down. I'm going to put this under my machine, and I'm going to use my zipper foot, and stitching as close to the zip teeth as possible. I'm going to stitch down one side, across the zip, at the end of the zip a couple of times, and then up the other side. I'll come back and show you that in